The Manhattan Project was a scientific endeavor unlike any other. It was a race against time, a desperate gamble to build a weapon of unimaginable power before the enemy could do the same. The project's success or failure would determine the fate of the world. The Manhattan Project was shrouded in secrecy. Only a select few knew the true nature of the work being done. The scientists and engineers involved were driven by a sense of duty and a fear of the consequences if they failed. The story of the Manhattan Project is a complex one, full of scientific breakthroughs, political maneuvering, and moral dilemmas. It is a story that continues to resonate today, as we grapple with the legacy of the atomic age. The seeds of the Manhattan Project were sown in the shadow of war, a time when the world was engulfed in conflict and uncertainty. In December 1938, German scientists made a startling discovery: nuclear fission, a process that would change the course of history. This breakthrough had the potential to unlock the immense energy stored within the atom, an energy source that could be both a boon and a bane for humanity. The news of nuclear fission reached a small group of physicists in the United States, including the renowned Albert Einstein and the visionary Leo Szilard. They were alarmed by the possibility that Nazi Germany might develop atomic weapons, a threat that could tip the balance of power in the ongoing war. In August 1939, Szilard drafted a letter to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, urging him to initiate a research program into atomic energy, emphasizing the urgency of the situation. Einstein signed the letter, lending his immense prestige and influence to the cause, hoping to spur the government into action. Roosevelt responded cautiously, authorizing a small amount of funding for research, a decision that would eventually lead to monumental developments. The Uranium Committee was formed to investigate the feasibility of a nuclear chain reaction, a critical step towards harnessing atomic energy. At first, progress was slow, hampered by limited resources and the nascent understanding of nuclear physics. But the threat of war loomed large, and the urgency of the situation was growing, pushing scientists to work tirelessly towards a breakthrough. The attack on Pearl Harbor in December 1941 shocked the United States into war. The need for an atomic bomb now seemed imperative. The Manhattan Project was officially established on August 13, 1942. Major General Leslie Groves, a no-nonsense Army engineer, was appointed to lead the project. Groves was a brilliant organizer and a relentless driver. He would need all of his skills to oversee this unprecedented undertaking. To lead the scientific effort, Groves chose J. Robert Oppenheimer, a brilliant physicist from the University of California, Berkeley. Oppenheimer was a charismatic and enigmatic figure known for his intellect and his leftist political views. The project's initial headquarters were in Manhattan, New York, giving the project its name. But soon, the work would spread to secret locations across the country. The Manhattan Project was a massive undertaking, requiring the construction of vast industrial facilities and the recruitment of tens of thousands of workers. This secretive endeavor was spread across multiple locations, each with a specific role in the development of the atomic bomb. Three main sites played crucial roles in the project: Los Alamos, Oak Ridge, and Hanford. Each of these locations was chosen for its unique characteristics and strategic importance. Los Alamos, New Mexico, was chosen as the site for the project's main laboratory. This location was ideal due to its isolation and the natural security provided by the surrounding landscape. This remote location, perched on a mesa in the New Mexico desert, was codenamed Site Y. It provided the perfect setting for the top-secret research and development that would take place there. Here, Oppenheimer and his team of physicists raced to design and build the atomic bomb. Their work was intense and highly confidential, pushing the boundaries of science and engineering. Oak Ridge, Tennessee became home to a sprawling complex dedicated to uranium enrichment. This site was crucial for producing the fissile material needed for the bomb. The K-25 plant at Oak Ridge used a process called gaseous diffusion to separate the rare uranium-235 isotope needed for a bomb from the more common uranium-238. This complex and energy-intensive process was vital for the success of the project. Hanford, Washington was chosen as the site for plutonium production. This location was selected for its remote setting and access to the Columbia River, which provided necessary cooling water for the reactors. Plutonium, a man-made element, was another possible fuel for an atomic bomb. Its production required sophisticated technology and precise handling. At Hanford, massive reactors were built to bombard uranium with neutrons, creating plutonium. This process was a critical component of the overall strategy to develop a functional atomic bomb. The scientists at Los Alamos faced immense challenges in designing the atomic bomb. They were working with new and poorly understood materials, and the stakes of their work were higher than ever before. Two types of atomic bombs were eventually developed. The first, codenamed Little Boy, was a gun-type fission weapon that used uranium-235. This design was relatively simple, but it required a large amount of highly enriched uranium. The second type of bomb, codenamed Fat Man, was an implosion-type weapon that used plutonium-239. This design was more complex, but it was also more efficient, requiring less fissile material. The Fat Man bomb used a sphere of plutonium surrounded by explosives. When the explosives were detonated, they compressed the plutonium, triggering a nuclear chain reaction. On July 16, 1945, the world entered the atomic age. At 5:29 a.m., a blinding flash lit up the New Mexico desert. A mushroom cloud rose 40,000 feet into the air. The Trinity test, the first detonation of an atomic bomb, was a success. The explosive yield of the Trinity test was equivalent to about 21,000 tons of TNT. The blast vaporized the steel tower on which the bomb had been placed, leaving a crater in the desert floor. The shock wave from the explosion shattered windows 100 miles away. The success of the Trinity test meant that the United States now possessed a weapon of unimaginable destructive power. The decision of whether or not to use this weapon would fall to President Harry S. Truman, who had succeeded Franklin D. Roosevelt upon his death in April 1945. The Manhattan Project had a profound impact on the world, both in the short term and the long term. It was a monumental scientific endeavor that brought together some of the greatest minds of the 20th century. The atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945 brought a swift end to World War II, but they also ushered in the nuclear age, a time of both promise and peril. The devastation was unprecedented and left an indelible mark on history. The Manhattan Project left a legacy of scientific achievement, showcasing the incredible potential of human ingenuity and collaboration. But it also raised profound moral and ethical questions about the use of nuclear weapons. The debates that followed questioned the very nature of scientific progress and its implications for humanity. The development of the atomic bomb marked a turning point in human history. It was a moment that redefined the boundaries of warfare and human capability. It showed that humanity now had the power to destroy itself, a sobering realization that has influenced global politics ever since. The Manhattan Project also had a lasting impact on international relations. It fundamentally altered the dynamics of power and diplomacy. The possession of nuclear weapons by the United States and the Soviet Union led to a decades-long arms race, a period marked by intense rivalry and the constant threat of mutual destruction. This period of intense rivalry and mistrust defined much of the 20th century, shaping the geopolitical landscape in ways that are still felt today. The threat of nuclear war hung over the world like a dark cloud, influencing policies, cultures, and the collective psyche of nations around the globe.